Hey guys, go ahead and get out your note sheets and get ready to take notes on order of operations. So your steps for order of operations, and you should remember these, start off with parentheses, and that could be parentheses, brackets, or absolute value bars as well. Step 2 is exponents or powers, and that would also include any kind of square roots. Step 3 is multiplying and dividing from left to right. This one's important because a lot of times people think you have to do your multiplication before your division, but you're actually looking for both of them in the same step and whatever one comes first. So if there's division before multiplication, you divide before you multiply. And step 4 is to add and subtract from left to right, and this is similar to your multiplication and division. You're looking for whatever comes first from left to right. It could be subtraction before addition, and that's okay. And just to re-emphasize the importance of your multiplication and division and addition and subtraction from left to right, the special note at the bottom says you do your multiplication and division in the same step from left to right, and same with addition and subtraction in the same step from left to right. If you want to write the acronym down, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally from PEMDAS to help you remember. Just note that M and D, again, are the same color, they go together. A and S, same color, they go together. So let's take a look at your first example. Make sure you show all of your steps for this. My suggestion as you're doing each problem would just be to constantly ask yourself, what operations do I see, which should come first? So here we've got division, multiplication, subtraction. Multiplication and division are the same step left to right, so the first thing we should do is 14 divided by 7, which gives us 2. Copy everything else down. You've got multiplication and subtraction. We're going to do multiplication, so 2 times 2 is 4, and then our last step is 4 minus 3 to get the answer of 1. Okay, second example, it looks like I have parentheses and exponent, multiplication times the parentheses, and division. So I have to do my parentheses first, and 3 plus 7 is 10. And at this point I have multiplication and exponent and division, so I need to do my exponent next. So 10 times 10, or 10 squared, should be 100. And then from left to right I have multiplication and division, so I'm going to just go left to right. And we end up with 300 divided by 5. And then our last step is to divide, and we should end up with an answer of 60. Okay, example 3 is getting a little bit longer, so again we're just going to continuously ask ourselves what comes first and what comes next. So I definitely have parentheses, so I'm going to start with my 6 plus 1. Okay, taking another look at this, I'm done with parentheses. I do have exponents. My second step is doing 10 squared. And next I have some subtraction, multiplication, addition, and some more multiplication. I'm going to do my multiplication, and I know I have to do all multiplication before I can do any addition. And since in between the 3 times 6 and the 7 times 4 is all addition, I can actually do these in the same step to save myself some room from writing. You can do this in 2 steps if you want, but again, because of that separation of the plus signs, it's okay to do both of those. And last, I'm just going to go ahead and add and subtract from left to right. So I'm going to get 2 plus 100 plus 28, and my final answer should be 130 here. So I'm going to let you try example 4. It's one of the 4 answers that you see here, so if you want to try it on your paper and see what answer you find, just press pause on the video and then press play whenever you're done, and you can check your work. Okay, the correct answer you should have gotten was option 2 of 4, and if you didn't get that, you can check the steps here. You should have done your exponents, and then your multiplication, and then addition and subtraction. Okay, same thing for example 5. If you want to press pause, try it on your own, look for the right answer, and then press play whenever you're ready to check. And the correct answer you should have gotten for this was option 1 of 2. You should have parentheses, then your multiplication, and then your subtraction. And last multiple choice example, example 6. Again, if you want to pause and then double check, you can do that. And you should have gotten option 3, the answer of 12 for this. And from left to right, it was multiply first, and then divide, and then do your subtraction. Okay, I have these other practice examples, and they're also in your notes. So if you can press pause and try these 6 examples, and whenever you have all 6 of them, you can press play and then just double check and see how you did. Okay, number 1 should have been -2. It was multiply to get 15 and then add to get -2. Number 2, you were multiplying to get 28 and then dividing to get -2. Number 3, your parentheses give you -3 times 5, which is -15, and then plus your 3 squared, or 9, gives you -6. Number 4, 4 times 3 is 12, minus 8 is 4, and then times -2 gives you -8. Number 5, 4 squared 16, divided by 8 is 2, and then times 2 is 4. And then number 6, you have to simplify your numerator to get -9, and then simplify your denominator, which really turns into 4 plus 5, which is 9, and then your last step is to divide to get -1. Okay, the last thing we're going to look at with your notes is the common errors with PEMDAS. Most people are really good with order of operations since you've been doing it for so long, but there are 2 common mistakes that I've seen in my 8 years of teaching, and unfortunately they're always on your assessment, so you want to just be careful of these, look out for them, and be able to recognize them so you know you're not going to make these mistakes. So we're going to look at error analysis, and for you this is error analysis 1, and I want you guys to press pause and I want you to just take a look at the problem and see if you can find the mistake in the problem. 43 is actually not the answer, so somewhere along the way there was something that went wrong, so see if you can figure it out. So if you didn't find the mistake was actually in the very first step. When doing 4 squared, you would actually do the exponent just 4 squared, which is 16, but this minus sign that was in front of it should have stayed a minus sign, and since it turned into a plus, all the rest of the way that would have been wrong. The actual answer for this problem should have been, in this step, 17 minus 16 plus 10, which should have given us the answer of 11. That would have been the correct answer for this problem. Alright, so what you need to write down in your notes is that when evaluating exponents, be careful when you raise a negative number to a power, and this will be true for any time you raise it to a power that would be an even number, like squared or to the 4th. What you want to pay attention to is you will always get positive results whenever the negative number is within parentheses. So -3 in parentheses squared means it's actually -3 times itself, which is a negative number, which will give you that positive 9. Same with the -7. Because it's in parentheses, it's the whole -7 times itself to give you a positive 49. So a nice little trick would be positive parentheses, positive parentheses, they both begin with P. And then the negative results are when you do not have parentheses around the number. So something like -3 squared, you're just squaring what the exponent's touching, which is just the 3. The negative in this case is more like a minus sign, so since you do exponents before you would do subtraction, this problem would really look like -3, and then it's just 3 times 3, so that's almost like 1 positive, 1 negative, and you end up getting that -9. Same with the 7, it's just -7 squared, so the minus kind of carries itself down, and it's really just 7 times 7 with the negative out front, which gives you the -49. So parentheses positive, no parentheses is a negative result, so it's kind of an easy way for you to remember those. Okay, so take a look at error analysis 2, and you can go ahead and pause the video and see if you can find the mistake in the problem, and whenever you're ready you can press play and we'll take a look at what the mistake actually was. Okay, so the actual mistake was from the 3rd line to the 4th, where they actually did 12 times 3 to get 36 before this division was actually taken care of. So the next slide will actually show redoing the steps, so we'll take a look at that. Okay, so on your notes, it should say multiplication and division in PEMDAS should be done in order from left to right, and then it says do not do all multiplication first. So your fill-in word here is multiplication. Most people think you have to, and like I said, a lot of times your eyes think you do when you see a problem that looks this way, but you have to go left to right. So if we redid this problem, and you can redo it on your paper in the space provided, you should end up getting the answer of -13 for this if we go left to right. Okay, so the last thing for your notes, and then you're completely done, is to just do a little bit of practice with these problems, and they all include those most common mistakes. So just keep asking yourself as you're doing them, what step is next, and then watch out for those common mistakes. And you can press pause, and then whenever you're ready to check your answers, go ahead and press play, and you can see how you did on these. Alright, so for example 1, you should have had -28, and you can go ahead and check your steps for that. Number 2 was +28. Number 3 was 311, and then number 4 was -129. So that's it for your notes. Just make sure you bring this note sheet to class the next time I see you guys, and I will see you soon.